Hey everybody, welcome back to another one of my videos. My name is Nick, and on my channel I talk all about trading and investing. And we're going to be talking today about a software tool that I've built with the help of some of my colleagues who are developers. We've built this tool for MetaTrader 4, and this is the Grandmaster Forex robot. Now what you'll notice is it says 4.0. The reason I say that is because we've had 3 prior versions to this bot before this one, and each one has been slightly improved from the last, kind of approaching different tweaks and things that we can improve to make the bot more user-friendly, as well as just improve the underlying algorithm. So what I'm going to do in today's videos, before we get too far, I do want to just roll a disclaimer. This is not any sort of magic money printing machine. This is a tool that we've built specifically for people who like the idea of grid trading. So please take a moment to review our disclaimer and know that financial loss can be had in any sort of trading and investing, and Forex is not an exception. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what the Grandmaster robot actually is, how it works, some examples of it trading, some back test results, some percentage returns, and some of the logistics that you'll need, such as the account size, the broker, platform, etc. And one more thing is I will also share a little bit of my own performance with this bot. So it's been a live account with just like $2,000 in it to test it out, to run it for about a month and a half, and I'm going to share that with you guys later on in this presentation, so stay tuned. So before we get too far, we need to talk about what this bot is. If you're not a previous owner of one of the older versions of this bot, 1, 2, or 3.0, then let's just recap what this kind of tool actually is. So the Grandmaster EA is a grid-based expert advisor built to adapt with market movements as per the operator's set parameters. This is a trading tool that traders can use to automate components of their trading. It's designed to work specifically for MetaTrader 4. It's not built for MetaTrader 5 or any other platform. Not yet, at least. The robot gives the user the option to set their own preferred grid, set their lot sizes, profit targets, and more, such as optional stop outs and that sort of thing. So we'll get more to that later on in the video. The motivation behind the Grandmaster EA was to create a system that is designed to build and manage a position before taking profits if they come about, with a focus on risk management. All the things that I find important in trading are still kind of programmed literally into this bot, and it is not meant to be you just turn it on and it does everything for you. It's meant to be a tool that helps traders who like to grid trade, which we'll talk about that in a moment, helps them to automate components of that. So how does it work? Well, we need to talk about what a grid system is, which we'll get to right here. So the bot basically will take a position in the direction that you set it to. So let's say that you're looking at Euro USD and that you think that Euro dollar is going to go down. Well, then you could set the robot very simply in the parameters to only be taking short trades. The bot is designed with this most recent update to only go long or short. So it gives you as the operator the choice. Let's say that you think Euro USD fundamentally or technically or whatever trading you bring into your kind of bias, you can decide whether or not the bot trades to the south or to the north, or up or down, long or short. A grid of pending orders will then be set at your parameter set. So a grid, as you can see over on the far right of the screen, is multiple pending buys or sells. If you said you wanted to buy Euro USD as opposed, it would place pending buy orders at a designated grid underneath the current price. It's basically just pending orders all in different buys. This is great if you don't love the idea of timing markets and you're looking for something to kind of handle most of that, but you still have an overall approach. How many times have you thought a market is going to go up, it stops you out before actually going up? Well, this robot is not really designed with stops in the standard traditional way. It can be stopped out at a max loss. That's something that you can set, but it's not using stop loss orders. It's actually using small little positions to add in and build a position in the overall bias that you give the bot as the operator. So additional trades can be taken by the bot, like I said, if set by the user, all completely up to the user's discretion. So at designated grid levels, let's say that every 200 pips you want to add a small buy position to your trade because you still have that bias to the long side. This bot will execute that for you. Again, fully configurable to what you want to see. So who is this bot actually for? We're going to get to the point where we take a look at the bot playing out on the charts. We'll see some examples and I'll show some live results and that sort of thing. With that said, this is going to be the kind of bot for traders that actually have some experience. If you're a brand new trader and you have no idea about trading, this is probably not for you. This is probably something that you should go learn more about. You should go learn more about trading before you try and hop into buying an expert advisor and automating your trading, because you have to understand what's actually going on, how risk management works, all that other sort of stuff. I know it could be an easy sale just to sit here and tell everybody, just buy this bot if you want to make a bunch of money, but that's not what we're about here. We're talking about a tool that traders who like to trade grid systems could use, and traders looking to automate components of their trading, right? So that makes part of their trading a little bit more automatic. It makes it easier because you don't have to spend all day long looking at the charts and setting up trades. You can let the bot do it as you design it to do so. So traders looking for an expert advisor that is user-friendly. If you're not a programmer, if you don't have a ton of experience, but you want to trade with a bot, this could be a pretty good starting out bot to look at. Again, it is relatively user-friendly and pretty simple to get running. So now we're going to take a second to take a look at the bot in the MetaTrader 4. We're going to actually see it running. We're going to see some examples and so on and so forth. So stay with me. Okay, so we're here in MetaTrader and I've got a real account, but we're going to do a demo of watching the bot actually trade. You can see I do have this. This is the account that I mentioned that I'm running some tests on. You can see, it's currently got one trade open here on the buy side, and it's got the panel. You can see here it is running. Here's the panel on the left side. You can see, I have the bot set to buying. It has one current trade open. The profit and loss is basically net zero, and I'm targeting $2 per trade here in profit. So we'll get more to the parameters in just a moment, but generally speaking, this bot allows you to set, how much you want to target. So let's say you want to target $5 in profit per trade, and you give it 0.01 lot size to actually execute trades on. Well, it's going to do its best to try and get a $2 profit, at which point it will attempt to try and close out the profit so long as the bot is running and MetaTrader 4 is left open. So with that said, it'll show you over here on the dashboard, you've got all this interesting information. You've got the time frame, the current spread on the account. You can see the balance, you can see the equity, you can see the target that you're shooting for, again, profit and loss. And then you've got things like the last time it was connected. This is important to know if your bot lost connection or not. This is pretty up to date. So I know that the bot is still actively running. That tool is talked about inside of the handout that you'll get when you do get the bot, information on all of these different parameters and how to set them. But if we actually go into really quick the properties here, here's where you can actually see all the different things that you can set. So we've actually reduced the number of things that you can see here. So you'll see we've reduced the number of parameters that you actually have to choose and set, because it just makes it a little bit confusing when you have too many to look at. So you can set whether the bot buys or sells, right? This is where you would choose if you think that CAD Swiss, in my case, I think it has a good chance to go up, right? I have a true on the buy and a false on the sell. So there we go. Now it's setting a grid, and you can see there's all the pending orders, right, being set by the bot, basically saying if price drops, then I'm going to build a position here of very small lot sizes. Okay, so then we also have the lot size that you can give it, the lot size multiplier. I keep this at 1.0, meaning that it's not going to add bigger positions. It's just going to add more of the same size, right? This would be considered martingale, but it's not really for me. If you did something like 2.0, but that's up to you. And as I said, it's up to user discretion how you want to use this bot. But for me, I just don't multiply. So I keep the same lot size each time. So this is 0.01, 0.01, 0.01, so on and so forth. So then we've got the different grid level in distance, or grid level distance in points. So every 200 pips, this is going to add a small position to the overall account. Again, I can turn this on or off at any point. Let's say that my bias switches and I think, okay, actually CAD Swiss is probably bearish now. Well, I can just turn off the bot and close out the trades and start in the sell direction, right? That's completely up to you as the user. This will just execute as you instructed it to do so, okay? So then you also have this, the number of levels. So as I mentioned, it's got 10 different grid levels here pending. So these are pending buy limits where the price will execute a buy for me if it gets down to that point. So the net profit, again, we talked about, I'm targeting $2 per trade here. So at any point, if this chart gets up by $2 in profit, it will go ahead and close out the trades, assuming MetaTrader is active and currently on. So using the max drawdown stop stop out. This is another thing that we just added to this bot. I currently haven't added it to this, but this is something that we just added. So what you could do is if you wanted to say, let's say if the account balance drops by $500 at any given time, the max stop out is basically going to, if this is turned on, it's going to close out everything at a $500 loss. This can be configurable completely up to you. Let's say things really change and you were really incorrect about the direction of the market. Well, you can close it out at any point. Let's say you wanted to set this at a $100 stop out. So anytime the price gets to a $100 drawdown, it's going to go ahead and close everything out, and you can reconsider your positions. Very useful for those of you guys who definitely want to keep a stop out on your account. Again, this has to be on, all of this has to be running in order for the bot to actually execute, meaning that MetaTrader 4 has to be left open. That's why some people like to get VPSs or just run a computer like I do that is always running the bot. Okay, text size, this is just for the panel. All your information, you can set these different colors as you see fit. Okay, and so that is kind of what it looks like. Now we can actually run some tests. We can take a look at some of examples and we can see this bot kind of in action. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna press the run button here. So we click start here and now we can see the bot kind of taking trades. So what you'll see is, here we go. In this case, we set the bot to sell only, right? So can buy is turned to false, can sell is turned to true. We have $10,000 loaded in the account and we're targeting $10 per trade execution. So we're here on the pound dollar and you can see there's our grid level, right? Remember how we talked about grids being placed along the top? Well, there it is. And so as price goes up, it's going to build a small position each time on the sell side. Again, completely up to you if you wanted to choose buy. That's really up to you. This bot, again, is not meant to be 100% automated. It's not meant to do all the decision making for you. It's meant to automate components of what you choose to do in your own trading account. Okay, so let's go ahead and click play and you can see there's the bot already going off. And what you'll notice is that it's taking small little profits here pretty quickly. If we change this to this, you can see we've taken a bunch of profits already. It's hard to see it because we've gone so quickly, but we've made small little $10 gains. The account is currently at $10,266 in closed profits. And we'll just let it run for a minute and we'll see how this thing runs. Now, obviously, when things go the other way, this is gonna lead to drawdown, right? So no perfect system. We don't know exactly what the market's gonna do at any given time. And again, that's why this bot is kind of cool for certain traders that don't love timing, but they like the idea of using a grid or using risk management to kind of execute trades. So as this thing goes along, what you'll notice is that it holds on to the losers, which I know some people are not big fans of. And so that's why, you know, this is using very small lot sizes, very conservative approaches. At least that's how I use it. Everybody has their own way of setting, you know, their own risk tolerance. But what you can see is that we just closed out a profit as soon as, we'll go ahead and pause it to kind of watch what just happened. So we took a sell trade here. Price held on, right? We overall took a second trade, which was apparently a much better entry. You can see price popped up there and actually fell, closing us out right here, closing both trades once we had reached a plus $10 profit on the overall account. And then we went ahead and opened up our next trades and kept going with the sell trend, okay? So all we're doing here is, again, we're just taking sells and we're having pending orders being placed automatically all by the robot so that we don't have to do that. And for the most part, you don't really have to look at it. At least I don't. When I use this, I basically just let it run for the most part. And again, we'll show the MyFX book that I've linked to this account in just a moment. So that's kind of what the bot looks like. We can go ahead and zoom ahead and you'll see it just takes a bunch of trades and it goes, and that's just based on the parameter set that I've given it. It's taking quite a few trades here on this example. You can see, actually, let's go back to that one part. This is where you can see the bot every once in a while gets caught up in a bundle of trades, but you could have seen that there was a big bundle of trades. When things get rocketing to the high side and we're short, it's never fun, but we can actually take a look at some of the reporting here, and what you'll notice is that it's not too bad, right? So on our $10,000 account, this theoretical, very hypothetical, this is not, you know, how I'm guaranteeing any sort of profits like that. This is just theoretical, hypothetical testing that we just did. You can see that we made right around $5,700. We had a max drawdown at one point of about 14% of the account at $2,200. So not bad. We had some pretty decent returns here. A very high win percentage, which we'll talk a little bit more about when we get back to the slideshow. 95% win rate here. Occasionally we are going to take losses or just positions that close out negative, but for the most part, this system is going to do what it tells you to do. And backtesting is a little bit tricky because, again, as you, the operator, have the choice to completely run this how you want, the back testing of my parameters may be very different than yours. That's why I would encourage that you go test whatever you're gonna do on your own, make up your own, parameter set, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever chart you like to trade, and work with it and see how it goes for you. Again, that's kind of the main focus here, is this is a tool, not a 100% automated trading, do everything for you kind of bot. I personally don't love those because, again, people have different preferences. People are more or less comfortable with different things. And so this bot is more a way for people to set a bot up for their own trading kind of preferences. So let's go ahead and jump back to the presentation and we'll see what's next. Okay, so what we can do now is we can talk briefly about some of the improvements that we've made from the previous version. So I mentioned that this is version 4 of the Grandmaster EA, and I'm gonna go through some of the main kind of improvements that we've made here on the bot. So the first one being an improved information panel. That kind of thing on the right there that you see, that is the information panel that is posted up on the chart as we saw in MetaTrader 4 when we just looked at it, right? And so what you'll notice is that this basically gives you all the information that you need, and it's definitely been updated from previous versions. It gives you a little bit more information, especially that last connected down there at the bottom. That will let you know if the bot is currently active or not, because sometimes people get caught up with expert advisors. You have to leave MetaTrader 4 on in order for it to function properly. And so this last connected will give you the last time that this bot has been connected to MetaTrader 4. If it's not been connected or you lost internet connection, it won't be able to function because you need internet to actually trade. So the next thing we did a improved grid setting parameter. So you have more options now, which you'll get inside of the guidelines if you do decide to get the bot, that will give you information about the grid setting parameters. You can set as many grid levels as you want. You can set the different lot sizes. You can set the distance away. All of that is completely configurable up to you as the user. It's less sensitive to lost connection because we have that last connected. You can see when you've last been connected with the bot, and because we're using pending orders now instead of the bot executing every single trade, it's a little bit less kind of sensitive. And I don't know the best way to explain that, but very simply, it's when on the previous version, if you lost connection with your tool or your bot, you would have to restart the program in order to get it running now. Now you can just put the chart back together, or you can put the bot back on the chart and it will pick up where it left off, which is incredibly useful for me too, because every once in a while my internet connection would go out or something would happen and I'd have to restart the bot or get the bot back to start. This now shouldn't be too much of a problem and is definitely a better design than the previous version. It's also been redesigned to use pending orders for that same reason. This makes it so that it's less sensitive to lost connection because it can just get the information from those pending orders. I know this is kind of technical. This is more programming than a lot of people know, but this is important for those of you guys who are previous owners or you still own it and you're looking to get that updated version. By the way, if you're an old owner or a gold VIP with the A1 trading community, this will be completely free just as an upgrade from the previous one. The stop loss / max drawdown capabilities section has been added to the parameters, making it so that you as a bot operator basically can set your max stop out. If you want this bot to close out your trades at a $200 loss, then that's up to you, right? Or $300 or $500, up to you completely to set this. And so long as the bot is executing, it will be able to actually close out all trades, okay? So let's actually talk about some live results. Basically what you'll see is here is some live real results on a test account that I pulled off of myfxbook.com. This is an account that I've been running the bot on. You can see that I've made $105 on that $2,000 account. So not amazing, massive growth, but again, this is mostly passive and I'm not really looking at it very much. So it's very, very good for me because again, I've got a lot of things that I'm doing right now. I'm doing quite a bit of trading on other accounts. I'm working on our VIP group. I'm creating content on YouTube, all sorts of stuff, right? So for me, this is great because it helps automate and keeps me from looking at the chart all the time. Now I still check in and I still keep up to date with what the bot's doing, but for the most time, for my busy schedule, this is definitely super helpful and may be kind of similar for you guys if you decide to get trading with a bot. So with this, again, about 5% in about a month or so, just about a month, maybe a month and a few days here, 5%, which to me is pretty dang good for passive, not really working too much at this. So about a 3.9% drawdown at the same time, which is not horrible either. So the win rate. Now this is a question that I get quite a bit. Me and my support staff get quite often is, what's the win rate on the bot? And this is not an easy question to answer because again, this bot is heavily dependent on how you choose to run it. So the win rate is heavily going to depend on your preferences. Historically, this robot has a very high % win rate when targeting relatively small gains on my own back tests, okay? Now, the win rate will heavily rely on your target amount. So if you're targeting a small profit like $1, your win rate will be likely much higher than targeting something like $100 where it has to work and work very hard to make that money, depending on the lot size, of course. Targeting larger amounts will also likely increase your average trade duration. So if you're targeting much bigger trades, it's gonna make the account work harder and take longer to get those sort of gains. Okay, and again, just very dependent on your own preferences. Percentage returns are also very dependent on how you decide to run the bot. So the actual gains that your account makes. I made 5%, like I said on that video, 5.3%. That was my own parameter set. That can be, I believe I just used the standard set that I have on the bot, so there's nothing changed there. And the system is not 100% automated. Again, I've mentioned this a couple times in the video. This is not a set and forget, magic money printing machine. This is basically a tool that allows traders to set their own system and kind of let it run. It may require a trader to step in if things get stuck. Now, what I mean by that is that because this is up to your discretion, because you're the one who sets the bot, you may have to step in and do what you want to do or adjust as you go along up to completely how you decide to run the bot. Performance depends on your risk preferences, parameter configuration, account size, and position sizing. Again, all gonna come down to the parameters that you set the bot. And this is where you're gonna have to back test and test things out for yourself. Again, this bot assumes that you have a little bit of experience in trading, and it definitely, I encourage people to test and look at things for themselves in order to find the best results for them, depending on what charts you like to use. Now, this is my personal usage. I go for something like 1 to 5% on my lower risk accounts. And if I was using it on a higher risk account, I'd probably go for something like 5% plus per month. Maybe that would be a little bit more active of an engagement or active on my part to try and get those sort of gains. It's mostly a slow and steady, mostly passive trading system that again, you set and let it work, and it does most of it and you only occasionally have to step back in. Sticking to low volatility pairs for my own trading, I like to trade things like the dollar Canadian, the CAD Swiss. I've had some good success on the Aussie dollar and the Aussie Swiss. All of these are relatively lower volatility currency pairs at the time of making this video. So manual intervention, this robot is a tool. It's built to execute exactly how you set it to do so, assuming that you keep your system running, right? Your MetaTrader 4. In my own approach, I regularly keep an eye on the bot. Occasionally I step in and close out trades that I don't like. If I decide that fundamentally something has changed or technically I see something different and I decide to close out the trades, that can be to your own discretion. And so that's how I personally will manually intervene when necessary. It's not designed to be a set and forget. We've already mentioned this fully automated system. It's not a magical money machine. I like to put these disclaimers out there because I don't want people to think too highly of some sort of magical bot that's going to make them a bunch of money. This is a tool that you can use as you see fit. It requires an operator who knows their risk management and has an adequate understanding of trading. This is not for somebody who knows nothing, again, as we mentioned earlier. The logistics are very important here, so you need to actually have MetaTrader 4 on your computer or a VPS. If you have a Mac, you may need to see if you can get MetaTrader 4 in order to actually run this because you need MT4 to run MT4 bots. That would make sense. At least $500 in an account, this is my opinion. I wouldn't run this with less than that just because, and maybe the best way to approach is to start out with a demo account and see how it goes. On your own account, you'll see the swings. That'll be a good way to kind of see how the bot functions and that sort of thing. A broker that allows EA trading, most brokers do, but just make sure with your own broker that you have one that allows EA trading, expert advisor trading. And the last one is patience and adequate trading experience, as we mentioned before. This is not something that's going to be a get-rich-quick thing. This is a patience. This is a tool that can be used for traders who have a little bit of experience and, again, patience. So guidelines and installation, when you do get the bot, This is all going to be given to you, so you'll get a copy of the bot for your MetaTrader 4. You'll have an installation guide, and you'll have guidelines, parameter definitions, all that sort of stuff, how the bot works, and a note from the developer, which is myself and one other person. So that's what you'll get when you actually decide to get the bot. Now, how to get the bot, there's a link down below in the description. You can pick it up off of our website, a1trading.com, and then go to the software section, and this is where this tool is going to be. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and thank you very much. We'll see you next time.